Now, why mind is behaving like a monkey, why it is not in my control, all that now you will understand in next 15 minutes. And this is going to, I'm inviting now Professor Kumaresan to explain about mind. Professor Kumaresan has more than 20 years of experience with our sky system, and he started the center in Canada and in Abu Dhabi. He did contribute to the sky services a lot, and he is a big asset to World Community Service Center, particularly for Qatar. He has been with us for the last 3 years now. Anytime if somebody is absent, or somebody has not turned up for meditation or any lectures or any introspection syllabus or topic, he is the one person anytime I can call and he will be happy to give that lecture. Such a flexible gentleman, and he not only uses his intelligence to give lectures, even physically he helps us a lot. With this small introduction, now I invite Professor Kumaresan to explain us, enlighten us about mind. Sir, please.
No, thanks. Thank you all. Again, you're able to hear me, and you're able to see the presentation slides.
Yes.
Okay, I'll continue. So we talked about yesterday about the physical body, and we'll move from there on to mind. So we'll slightly move on. So yesterday we spoke about the physical body, and we came up to the biomagnetism. We all had an experiment to understand what is biomagnetism. So we will go on from there. That is where the mind comes. Again, we will be first defining the mind. Then we will understand what Swamiji defines mind in 3 different categories. The same mind, if you take in one form of, like 3 parameters, you can say how mind can be defined and classified in 3 different ways. We will see all the 3 different ways, and then we'll go on from there. So, okay, mind is nothing but the biomagnetism, which is the extended activity of the life force is called mind. We said that there is a life force and the biomagnetism is there. This collection of these waves is called mind. Okay, the collection of the biomagnetic force which comes from our life force is called mind. When you want, if it's a very clear way of saying mind in a very medical term, is mind is nothing but the psychic extension of life force. That is what the medical world puts it at. So for us understanding, we will understand it as the extended activity of the life force is called mind, which is basically the biomagnetism. The spread of the biomagnetism, collectively we call it as mind. So biomagnetism functions as the mind in the living beings. It transforms into the 5 sensory perceptions of pressure, sound, light, taste and smell, as well as the mind. So biomagnetism we saw, right? So the same biomagnetism, what happens is we spend through our sensory perceptions, like, by our skin as pressure, by our mouth as taste, and by our nose as smell, eyes as light, and sound as through our ears. So it is the same biomagnetism we spend through it and feel it. So people generally might have a question, how is one biomagnetism are we spending through these 5 senses? And the same biomagnetism, let's take for example electricity. When a fan runs, we get air, air or a pressure on us, the difference in temperature. But what is the consumption? Electricity. When we put light, the tube light, it's the light, but what is the consumption? Same electrical energy. When we have, say, an iron box, it's a heat, right? Or you take an audio music system, the output is sound, but what is the consumption at the back end? We call it electricity. Similarly, it is this biomagnetism, what we consume, like the electricity consumption by all these appliances, and that is what transforms in this biomagnetism, gets consumed in these 5 sensual perceptions, and as well as in mind also. In mind also, we consume this biomagnetic energy. Again, the functions of mind is basically creation of imprints in the form of characterized knots, expanding them into thoughts and inner visions. So we'll see this through an example. Light rays, for example, you're seeing a cow, as shown in the picture, you're seeing a cow or an elephant, think of anything. Light rays that reflect from an object enters through our eyes and create an image in the size of a small mosquito. Normally you would have seen in pictures or something, or if you see in your eye black eye pupil, you can see the reflection of what you see as a small one. Then this is transferred to the brain in the form of a small micro dot. Now, the micro dot is transferred from here to the genetic center to the brain, where the biomagnetism converts into thoughts. We'll just look at the mind and thoughts a little later, but understand this particular part. Now, there are 8 special things of a living things. They are, what we call 8 special, 8 special features of living beings. One is body, the second is life force, then the third is biomagnetism, fourth is genetic center, then fifth is brain, sixth is soul, 7 is mind, and 8th is sensual organs, sense organs. So we will see one by one. Now, what is the body? We have clearly seen yesterday, it is made up of the 5 states of matter and tissues, bodies, cells, everything we saw very clearly yesterday. Then what is life force? It's the free energy particles circulating within the body, constituting the life force. Then is the genetic center. Now, this is one we need to little stand here and understand. It is the vortex created by the circulating biomagnetism under the principles of specific gravity in the middle of the body. We said yesterday, we all have completely biomagnetism in the body, which we also experienced through that small experiment through the hand. And today I defined as the biomagnetism is the collection of this biomagnetism, is these waves, is called the mind. Now, you know that in the law of gravity, any magnetism has a center or the center of gravity, right? So that's what we have learned. For any object which has magnetism in it, there is a center of gravity. So that center of gravity within the human being or within living things is called the genetic center. It is the vortex created by the circulating biomagnetism under the principles of gravity in the middle of the body. So that's called genetic center. So this genetic center is the one which is like a hard disk in our computer. It keeps all the records, what you see, what you hear, everything, what we experience through the mind. Whatever we experience through the mind, it is kept here. So genetic center, if you, for a human being, you see, look at the wave spreading here. So the middle part is, take the height, the width and the thickness of the body. The center of the body will have the genetic center, or we can say the Mooladhara chakra and the chakras. That forms the genetic center of the body. Now, brain, biomagnetism working through the cells of the brain cognizes the transformation of biomagnetism into pressure, sound, light, taste, and smell in other parts of the body. So, suppose I'm drinking a cup of coffee. What happens is that smell, you have a coffee aroma, then also a taste. Now, these two are the biomagnetism spent through my tongue and the nose. And this transformation of biomagnetism is recognized in the brain cells. No, this is coffee smell, because it compares to the last one, what we heard. And it's also saying, oh, it has more sugar or less sugar, because it compares what you generally drink. So then it compares and it processes in the brain. That is what the brain does. So brain, working through the brain, this basically does it. Now cells, now let's just slightly define the soul. Imprints of this experience undergone by the living thing as well as those of forefathers past to hereditary are contained in the genetic center. Now, what is in the genetic center is all the imprints and experience by all this, our hereditary, is passed on through this genetic center imprints only. From the sperm and the ovum of the parents, you get it here and it is contained in the genetic center. This is the soul of a living being. Now, mind. Now, the imprints of this experience stored in the genetic center expands to form the mind according to the moods, habits, and circumstances. So, what does the mind do? The function of the mind is, it is to expand, to bring it and show it us in the brain whenever we need it. Suppose I give an example. Imagine an elephant, what you saw. So, last time what you saw, now somewhere it is stored in your genetic center. The mind brings it and the biomagnetic energy is expended through your brain. And you now visualize yourself in your memory or in your mind. You are visualizing an elephant, what you see in the last time, physically, maybe in a temple or in a zoo or in somewhere, wherever you saw. So that is what the mind. So the same thing happens, whatever we experience through these 5 senses, and it is, it is done or processed in the brain, it is now compressed and kept in the mind. The mind does this both. Now, sensory organs, we have all the five sensory organs: skin, tongue, nose, eyes, and ears are the five sense organs that help perceive the external world. These are the only five organs we have our link to this materialistic world. How do we interact with this world? Only with these five, nothing else. And we process in the brain all these signals received through these five senses. Now let's come to the four stages of mind. Now there are definitions of, slowly the definition, I said three definitions of mind. Now before that, what are the stages of the mind? So basically, pleasure, pain, peace, ecstasy. Yesterday, I think in the class, we little in the question answer session, the other class, the Professor Muthu sir explained about difference between peace, ecstasy, or bliss. So we have a pleasure when we are happy, we enjoy something, and we have pleasure. Then when we have pain, we go through a pain or a sorrow. Then we are absolutely peace. Then ecstasy is the blissful. So these are the four stages of mind, or the experience of a mind can have. Now we'll slowly go to one definition. Swamiji explains there are five different of stages of mind, or five kosas, or five levels, he says, based on exactly what you think upon. Okay, so they are Annamaya kosa, Manomaya kosa, Pranamaya kosa, Vijnanamaya kosa, or Anandamaya kosa. These are based on exactly what is our mind thinking about. So Annamaya kosa is the mind remains concerned with the needs of the physical body related to the outside world, and through the sense organs, and going through the experiences of pleasure or pain. All the thoughts in the mind which are related to our bodily needs, food, or temperature, or these are called bodily needs. So any of this state of the mind thinking about this is called, we are saying in the state of, it's like you are wearing 5 sheets of sweater. Each one has its own work. The next one is basically Manomaya kosa, is basically the emotional level. Watching a TV, listen to your music. Is it really a need? Is it without that can you live? Yes, I can live without it. If I don't hear to music, I don't die. But if you need a food, yes, you need food is a need. So similarly, Manomaya kosa is basically, it is just for the mental pleasures, like listening to your seeing a favorite movie, actor's favorite movie, or listening to your favorite music, listening to your favorite series or movies or anything, that comes under Manomaya kosa. Then the next one comes is the Pranamaya kosa, where the mind thinks about the expanded stage, realizes itself, and thinks about our life. What is this life on? Why have I come into our life? What is this life? Next, going beyond the body needs and the mental pleasures, that's called Pranamaya kosa. If the name Pranan means life in Sanskrit, that's where this version comes from. Then Vijnanamaya kosa is basically, Vijnana means, again the word is science. When the brain begins to understand between the connection between ourselves, the solar system, what would have been made up of, how does this universe come into this? This is all you're going behind your body and thinking, what are the celestial bodies? And this comes under Vijnanamaya kosa. Then the fourth one is Anandamaya kosa, where you understand about the absolute space and how this absolute space is there, what is your connection to that, and when you go to reach that stage, you come to a state of bliss. You understand it very clearly. So this is called Anandamaya kosa. Now these are the 5 basically based on what it thinks. Now again, Swamiji gives another stages of mind. What are the different stages of mind?